Hello, I'm Eric Russell. I was a volunteer with the Enfield Municipal Facilities Committee, and I'm here today with our new town manager, Ed Morris, for a tour of Whitney Hall.
Well, thanks for coming out today, Eric. Go ahead and just show you around Whitney Hall and some of the things that we have going on here with the Warren article coming up.
Just for a little history, this building was donated to the town, built with donated funds in 1901, 1902?
1900, 1901.
Yeah, and it served the town as the library for the last century and for the last, you know how many years the town offices?
Yeah, in 1976 there was an upgrade and a renovation to the building that added the town offices, and then in 1996 there was another addition added here, and we put the elevator and made it more ADA accessible. So if we look around the outside, the building's in a little bit of rough shape. As you walk up, it kind of just looks like paint and things that you need. But if you come around the side of the building, I can show you that there's actually some really good or bad wood rot, different things. Okay, Eric, as you see as we tour the outside of the building, you can see the wood rot along the trim and up into the actual clapboards. You know, as you go up, there's a lot of wood rot from water infiltration. In the wintertime, on the other side, you can see icicles coming out of the side of the walls, and over here you can see them coming straight through the soffit holes to the end. So we definitely have some water issues and roofing issues. Good. So welcome to the town offices. This is where the clerk works, and you know, we have a nice little space here, but it does get fairly crowded often. Yesterday we had a line out the door, so it's kind of a small space for our needs at this time. We also have a very small public restroom here, and as you see as we go through the building, you'll notice that we have a lot of ADA accessibility issues.
So if somebody were in the town offices and needed an ADA accessible bathroom, what would they do?
They'd have to go back out this door into the elevator up to the second floor by the library, and there is an ADA accessible bathroom up there, and we can see that when we're touring the library.
Okay.
So if you come down the hall here, this is the major services for the town. As we come in, you can see this big open space here. You can see this big open space. We have 6 different workstations in this open space, so it's a little crowded. They each do have their area to work, but when we have customers at the window and the clerks working, it gets a little bit loud in here. So having privacy to work on a project where you need to concentrate or even to make phone calls and talk to people is a little difficult at times.
Now, on a previous tour of the building, I noticed a lot of the workspaces had space heaters under them. Is it getting cold down here?
Yeah, many of the desks have space heaters. A few people have heated mats to put their feet on, and it does get quite cold during the winter time. We go through a lot of heating fuel. I can show you the fuel tank in a little bit, but we have Dead River or another company come out at least every 3 days to put fuel oil in the boiler. And you know, we did have a time this winter in January where they missed that 3-day deadline and we ran out of fuel.
Wow.
Good.
So as we saw in the police department, fire station, and the ambulance tours, we have space issues as well. This is the town server system right here. We didn't really have a good place to put it, so it lives right here in the front office with us where everybody's doing their work on a day-to-day basis. If you look this way, this is Elisa's office. She works in here, but you know, just like we talked about in the police tours, you know, we have all those filing cabinets because there's a lot of record retention laws, and so we put filing cabinets wherever we can stick them to make sure we're maintaining the records that we need.
Yeah, so there's no sort of formal storage area, it's all just wherever you can fit a filing cabinet?
Yeah, and as you see as we go through the building, we have storage everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you come into the assessing office, This is where we work for our assessing office and keep all our files. This is a decent little space. She doesn't have a lot of room to grow many more files, but it is capable of handling some of the files we have now. The one issue that I did like to point out here is, you can see here, this is hydraulic cement, and we put that on the walls to try to help control the moisture from coming through. They're having moisture problems with the past. You can see some of the corrosion on the bricks where the hydraulic cement come off.
Okay.
So this is the town manager office. This is where I work all day. It's a very adequate space. Nice little office. So not a lot to really show in here.
Okay.
There is a candle over there that Jack, the interim town manager, left. I haven't had the opportunity yet to have to use that, but he did say a few days he came in, there were dead mice and rodents in the walls, and the office smelled pretty bad, so he bought a candle for here. Okay. We actually down the hall here. We have a nice little meeting room. This is great. We'll have a staff meeting here later today. It's good for that, but there is no meeting space for the select board or any larger groups. So we can host some small little meetings. That's about it.
No, I see one of the closets is locked. Why is that locked?
Yeah, that's the supervisor of the checklist closet. So they keep some confidential type information in there and things that they just don't want normal people to be able to get into.
Okay, and it's locked because it's a public meeting space.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
anyone has access to the room. But
Yeah,
you don't have
anybody
access
in
to the
here
back.
could try to open the closet, so they try to keep that closed down. So as you come down the hall, you can see we have some more storage issues. I do need to get them to get these boxes out of here. We have space issues trying to get that done. So if you come in here, we have a lot more storage in here. As you look around, just boxes. Again, there's record retention rules on how long we have to keep each type of document. We do have another technology cabinet here that works with our data lines and just keeping everything operational.
This used to be the food pantry.
Yeah.
I'd say we go.
You want to look at the utilities? Yeah.
This is pretty chopped up. So if you come in here, yeah, this is the utility room. We have our boiler. This isn't horrible. We do have a little bit of storage in this room. As you can see, we have air conditioners stored in here that we will put in the windows here in a couple months as it starts warming up to try to keep the office space a decent temperature. And then this is our oil tank that gets filled every 3 days during the winter.
All right, go.
Okay, so as we're headed back out, we're in that same storage area when we started, but as you can see, this is all the utility panels, electric panels. And, we do try to keep the 3-foot spacing we need, but technically you're not supposed to have storage in an area with utilities like that.
Is that a fire code?
Well, it could be a fire issue if we had a breaker or something spark here, having a bunch of cardboard boxes and paper right next to it.
Okay.
Could cause an issue.
Go.
So yeah, as we come upstairs, we can take these back stairs to the library. As you see, as we come up the stairs, we do have the water infiltration coming in through the bricks like we did in the assessing office. So these are granite stones, and it's pushing the mortar out and the paint off the walls. And it's a continual issue to try to keep this cleaned up. So welcome to the Enfield Library. We're here, and a big part of this project that we do want to point out that this is a renovation project as well as the expansion on the back of the building. So one of the things people really love these pocket doors, and we have a lot of really great ornate woodwork. So in part of this project, it'll be taking all of this woodwork down,
or what day would you like to pick it up,
refinishing
and
it,
you may have it for
fixing
3
the
days.
building, insulating, doing the things we need to do to the building, and then they'll restore it back to the way that it was to keep this
Okay.
wonderful woodwork in here.
Yeah, and so that also includes the stained glass and other
And then once
architectural
you figure
features
it out,
of the
just give us
building.
a call and we'll.
Yeah, I don't know how
build
much
one for
renovation
you
they'll do
and
to
try
the
and
stained
reserve
glass,
it
but
that
they
way.
will
It
be
is getting very
preserving and
popular,
putting it
and I
back
wonder, it
and
must be
making
because
sure
they're
that we
opening, is
keep
that
the
why? it's
integrity
open?
and the history of the building. So continuing our tour of the library, they do have this little break area. Again, we have some storage issues in here. You know, and if you come over, it's really hard to see, but we have some little bit of mold and things coming through the crack of the wall right here. You know, again, we have water infiltration through windows and roofs and different items throughout the building.
And it's pretty tight without having to put storage in here for a break room.
So Eric, this is Kate, our librarian, and she can tell you a little bit about the expansion and what we're going to do in this space.
Thanks for having us today, Kate. I know there's a number of programmatic and other improvements that the library would like to undertake. What are some of the things you're looking at?
Yeah, so right now is for programming, we don't have a space for programming. We can't even host the school kids right now because of COVID. There's not enough space to have a class come and distance them by 6 feet, or parents and caregivers can't come to story time. So no programming is happening in the library right now because we don't have the space to facilitate it at all. So with more space, that's going to create more opportunity to host programs, to have people come. We often have people call us just looking for a space to provide opportunity for their own organizations. We don't have that as an option right now, big or small. Just within the last 6 months, we've had 3 different organizations call that would have benefited children in this community because they had grant money to give them for the Girl Scout memberships, and we couldn't host them. We just didn't have the space. So that is one of our biggest issues. So that's why more space is going to allow us to have people come, engage in the community, and also engage others from the surrounding communities to be part of this community. You know, a tighter community just helps everybody.
Yeah, and I know that some of the functional aspects of the library, like the stack heights, have been proposed to be rethought and reconsidered. Can you explain some of that to us?
Yeah, so right now the issue with the stacks that we have is that they're too tall. A heavy item on a top shelf for an elderly patron trying to reach it, if they lose their grip on it, comes down and could potentially hurt them. So that's one issue that we have. There's not enough space for somebody that has any mobility issues, a walker, a wheelchair. They can't even access the stacks. So again, now we've created a barrier to information. And as a library, we never want to create a barrier to information. And that is one of the biggest issues with the stack height that we have. Also visibility. If something were to be happening over in this corner, we would never know it. We wouldn't be able to see it. If someone were to get hurt or fall over there, we might not know it, depending on where we are in the library. So those are some of the issues that we're having with the height of the stacks and the collection that we have right now.
Yeah. And the narrow pathways between the stacks have caused access issues.
They have, yeah. So especially somebody that has a motorized wheelchair that has that motor component to it, just extends that wheelchair to be a little bit bigger. And they can't, like I said, they can't get in and they can't get around the, there's just not enough space for them to maneuver within the stacks or within the library. They're really contained to just over by the children's area. So again, a barrier to information. They can't access the information that they need independently. And we're not doing our job when we put, as librarians, we're not doing our job when we put a barrier to information. It goes against the First Amendment rights.
Great. Well, thank you for explaining some of the changes to the proposed changes to the library.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
As we leave the back side of the library, we come into this hallway where the elevator's at, and this is the ADA bathroom, the only one in the building that we talked about. So, you know, it does. The doors are there.
Are they running the water for a reason?
So this does add the ADA accessibility to meet the letter of the law, but again, it's a little bit of a tight space. If you have the motorized wheelchair, it's hard for them to get in and out of here. Plus, if we have a show upstairs, the people have to take the elevator down to this level to use the ADA restroom, and then from downstairs, as I said, they'd have to take the elevator up to the second story to use the restroom as well. Now, we're upstairs on the third level of Whitney Hall, and this is the stage area. They're using it as an auditorium right now for the Shaker Theater. But as you see, there's a lot of innate woodwork in here that will also be restored. Our plans in this area is to turn this back into a meeting hall facility so we can use it for select board meetings, planning board meetings, and other meetings throughout the community. And so it'll be a nice space for people to be able to use.
Yeah, it's just, so the part of the preservation aspect would be to maintain the beautiful facade of the stage.
Yeah, that'll all be renovated and put back in place. So we maintain the historical features of the stage area and, you know, just bring it back to life. It's a little old and tired at this time, but, you know, refurbishing that and putting it in place will be a nice upgrade for the town, and to be able to bring the select board meetings back to Whitney Hall in the downtown area.
Yeah. And part of the plan, while maintaining the facade, would actually add some meeting rooms behind where the stage currently is.
Yeah, there'd be some smaller meeting rooms and storage space and different things. As we go through the engineering, we'll look at how that best utilize the space behind the stage. But yes, as we expand, there'll be some more space back there to add the storage needs and meeting space that is needed in the building. Other issues that we can see in here, we did have a pretty big water leak this last year up through the ceiling. Again, the slate roof has some holes in it, and we got water infiltration coming into the building. So now we're upstairs in the balcony area by the stage. So again, there's quite a bit of storage in this little area. As you look, there, you know, town storage, more documents that we have to keep in paper format for a certain amount of time. So if we come back in here, this is headed back towards the front of the building. I can show you some other small issues with the building that we're looking at getting replaced. So as we're in here, you can turn on this little light. As you can see, there's still active knob and tube wiring here in the building, in parts of the building. And so that'll all be replaced. We'll be upgrading electrical as we go through. As we're doing the renovation, the sheetrock and, you know, the walls will be taken down to the stud so we can insulate properly. As you can see, this is uninsulated space with a small door, so this is a part of our heat loss through here. And we'll just continue to renovate and bring the building up to new standards while keeping the historical integrity of the building. So why don't you come up with me? We'll go up into the cupola. I'll show you that area, and we'll finalize our tour after that. So now we're in the top of the cupola. There's not a lot to see here. We have had animal infiltration. We have a bird in the library wall today that we're trying to figure out how to get out of there. But the main thing you can see up here is, you know, just a little bit of that, and there's a lot of water staining on the walls. Again, there's water infiltration and just basic maintenance that the building needs to be upgraded and taken care of.
Well, thank you very much for the tour of Town Hall today, Whitney Hall. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to give us a tour of Whitney Hall today.
Yeah, thanks for coming down.